Hey guys, welcome back to Boring History Episodes. Tonight, we're not delving into grand halls of kings or the rise and fall of mighty empires, but stepping quietly into a forgotten world, one nobody really talks about, buried beneath the wealth and glory of conquerors. We're standing in the shadows of Viking raids, in the aftermath of wars where women's fates were sealed by the stroke of a blade, exploring the brutal and unspoken truths of what Vikings did to the wives of defeated warriors. A world where survival became a silent struggle, and the cost of life was measured in silence, suffering, and endurance. Imagine the Viking raids as violent storms, axes raised high, shields clashing, cities reduced to rubble. And then, imagine what remains once the battle fades into silence. The women left behind, the wives of fallen warriors, waiting in the ruins of what used to be their lives. It wasn't gold or silver the victors seized. It was the women, their lives, their bodies, reduced to spoils of war. Imagine being one of them. Once the proud wife of a warrior, now nothing more than an object claimed, marked, and sold in the aftermath of conquest. A life once filled with love now consumed by the cold laws and cruel traditions of Viking conquest, leaving you no choice, no voice, only the brutal will to survive. Your identity, your very being, is stripped away, leaving behind only a body to be owned, a piece of property to be traded, a name that no longer belongs to you. If you're intrigued by these lost, silent stories of survival and suffering, feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. Only if you find yourself drawn into the past, curious about the history that often gets left behind. And, as you listen, tell me where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you right now in the comments. It's strange, in a comforting way, to know that across time and space, we are all connected by these stories, whispered through the ages, now reaching your ears. Now, dim the lights, let the room fall still, and feel the world outside fade into silence. Imagine the weight of the past pressing in, like the soft scrape of an old broom against stone. The faint slowly, carefully. You are here now, and the cold, indifferent gaze of the victorious warriors falls upon you. You feel it, the weight of being taken, of being forced into a life where survival means surrender. You have no voice here, only the beat of your heart, and the knowledge that your future is now marked by what came before, and what is yet to come. Part 1. The Fall of the Warriors. The first thing you hear is the clashing of steel. A loud, sharp crack rings through the air. A body falls to the ground with a dull thud, and the earth beneath it trembles for a moment. But it doesn't last long. The sounds of battle begin to fade, replaced by something far colder, far more final. The cries of the defeated warriors turn to whispers, and the air becomes heavy with the smell of blood and sweat. The warriors have fallen, but for the women, it is only the beginning. You can feel it now, the weight of silence that hangs heavy in the air, a deep, suffocating pause before the inevitable steps begin to approach. The warriors stand victorious, their heavy boots crunching on the bones of the dead, their weapons stained with the blood of those they've slain. But it is not the dead who are of concern. It is the living, the women, the wives, the daughters. They are the ones who will face what the battle was truly about. Their men are gone, their homes are burning, and they are left standing, not as victors, but as prisoners, as spoils of war. There's no ceremony in the taking of them, no grace, no compassion. They are simply claimed, marked by the eyes of the men who have won. You are one of them. You stand in the middle of what was once your home, a place of warmth, a place of life. But now, it is a tomb. The smoke rises around you like an omen, and you are left with the stillness, the crushing weight of being alive, but not free. The sounds of the warriors coming closer, their laughter, their voices rough and low, fill the air. They are not concerned with the bodies on the ground, or the homes that have been destroyed. They are only concerned with the women they are about to take. You stand still, frozen by the knowledge that there is no escape. The warrior approaches you. He stops in front of you, his eyes scanning your body, his gaze cold, calculating. He doesn't speak. There's no need for words. He claims you with his eyes. His hand reaches out, and the moment you feel no chance of refusal, it is the law of conquest. The warrior's voice breaks through the silence. "I claim you," he says, his words flat, emotionless. The words echo in your mind, repeating over and over like a cruel mantra. It is not an offer, it is a declaration, and there is nothing you can do to change it. As you are pulled away, the room around you fades, the sounds of the warrior's laughter and shuffling feet growing distant, replaced by the heavy silence of your own thoughts. You can feel the weight of the world pressing down on you, the crushing realization that this is your new reality. The air grows thick, and the smell of smoke and blood clings to your skin like a permanent stain. You are led away from the remnants of your home, your heart pounding in your chest, the fear coursing through your veins like ice. Your thoughts are scattered, distracted by the cold, by the hands on your body, by the harsh voices of the men surrounding you. But there is no room for fear now, only survival. The warrior who claims you leads you through the remains of the village. You pass by the bodies of the dead, their faces twisted in final expressions of pain, and the homes that have been destroyed, their walls crumbling under the weight of the war. The smell of burning wood and flesh fills the air, but it is all distant, unimportant now. Your steps are heavy, dragging across the dirt. There is no place to go, no sanctuary to seek. The village, once full of life, is now empty. Only the sound of your footsteps remains, echoing in the stillness. The warrior takes you to a small building at the edge of the village, a place where the air is stale, where the walls are rough and unfinished. It smells of dampness, of decay. The room inside is small, barely large enough for a bed, a chair, a small table. The flickering light from an oil lamp casts long shadows across the walls, and the faint smell of sweat and grime fills the room. He pushes you inside, the door slamming behind you with a heavy thud. There is no escape now. You are alone in this small, suffocating space, your body a prisoner to sour and warm, of bodies that have been used and discarded. There's no space to move freely, no room to escape from the oppressive weight of the others. You are not alone, yet you are utterly isolated, trapped in a shared misery that holds you all together. He steps forward, his presence overwhelming, and you feel the weight of his gaze on you once more. His eyes scan you, as if assessing the worth of an object, calculating whether you are worth the price. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. There's nothing left to say. With a slow, deliberate motion, he reaches for the straps of your dress, his fingers brushing lightly against the fabric, cold against your skin, as though savoring the moment, measuring your silence. He pulls the straps aside with ease, the fabric giving way with the smallest resistance. The sensation of the cloth slipping off your shoulders is soft, almost imperceptible. but it feels like the world around you has suddenly grown heavier. The dress falls to the floor with a soft rustle. The sound too loud in the stillness of the room. Your bare skin is exposed to the cold air, chilled, unforgiving. But there is no space left for modesty. No space left for the person you once were. Your body, once a temple of your own choosing, is now nothing more than an object to be used. The coldness of the air presses against you, a sharp reminder of the vulnerability you can't escape. But it's not the cold that strikes you most. It's the absence of control. Your body is no longer your own. It is a thing, a tool to be used, a prize to be claimed. The power to decide, to resist, to protect your dignity. All of it slips away with the fabric, falling like the dress, lost to the weight of this new reality. There is no room for dignity here. No room for the woman you were before. You are reduced to this, a form, an object, no more than a piece of flesh, a body meant for his use, his desire. He moves closer, and he leaves without a word. You are alone again, but not free. The silence that follows is oppressive, heavy with the weight of everything that has happened. There is no room for tears, no space for grief, only survival. As the night falls, you lie there in the darkness, the events of the day replaying in your mind. The warrior's claim, the cold, mechanical motions of his hands, the smell of the room, of sweat, of fear. But you are still here, and that is all that matters now. The warrior has claimed you, but you remain, surviving. Part 2. Forced marriage and slavery. You stand there, the cold steel biting into your skin. Your wrist is bound. The chains clink as they shift with each breath you take. The battle is over. Your people have fallen, and the conquerors stand tall. They're victorious. But you? You are a prize, a trophy. The weight of that thought settles in your chest, heavy, suffocating. You don't know where to look, what to do with yourself. The others stand beside you, women like you, captives, daughters, wives. Their eyes are blank, their gazes distant, like they've already accepted what comes next. The air smells of iron, sweat, and the faintest trace of fear. The ground beneath your feet is wet, soaked in the blood of those who fought for their lives. And now, you are left to face the aftermath. You are left to face them. The men walk past, their boots crunching on the dirt, each step deliberate, heavy with purpose. You can hear the sound of their footsteps, loud against the silence, sharp and unrelenting. Their eyes, cold and calculating, scan over you, moving like predatory animals circling their prey. You feel them, feel their gaze dissecting you, like a carcass to be examined, their eyes lingering on every inch of your body, measuring you, assessing your worth. You try to keep your posture still, to remain composed. You try not to show fear, to hold your ground in the face of their judgment. But it's impossible. The fear is there, deep and raw, a constant tremor running through your body, even though you keep your face neutral. You can feel the weight of their stares, the scrutiny pressing down on you like a suffocating fog. Every inch of you is exposed, no corner of your body untouched by their eyes. The first of them steps forward, his hand reaches out. You flinch, but it's too late. He grips your arm roughly, pulling you toward the other captives. You struggle to keep your feet steady, your heart racing. The others are silent, but you can hear their breaths. Shallow, nervous. Some of them try to make themselves smaller, to blend in, unsteady, as though it, too, understands the weight of this moment. Around you, the other women stand in a line, their bodies unmoving, stiff as statues. Their eyes are downcast, or perhaps they've learned to look straight ahead, to avoid seeing each other, to avoid seeing themselves. There's no need to speak. Words are empty here. They know. They understand. They've all walked this path before. Each step, each breath, a part of the same cruel ritual. They've heard the whispers, soft, secretive, like the wind rustling through dead leaves. Promises of fate, no escape, no choice. They felt the cold hands before. They know the chill that follows, how it tightens around their hearts. Fingers that touch without warmth, hands that take what is not theirs. The cold hands of fate are inevitable, and in their eyes, there's nothing left but resignation. They have been here, and they will be here again. Nothing changes, not for them, not for any of them. The man who claims you steps forward. His hand grips your wrist tighter than before. You don't dare to fight back. What would be the point? You are nothing, just another piece of flesh for the taking. He pulls you away from the others. There's a new smell on him, the scent of tobacco, of stale wine. It's all too much. The smells, the sweat, the constant noise of the men, talking, laughing, bartering. And then the quiet. You're standing in a new place, a different reality. Your body still responds, but your mind is far away, frozen in the moment of what you once were. You are not free, not now, not ever again. The hut they lead you to is small, barely enough room to breathe. A single flickering lamp hangs from the ceiling, casting long shadows against the wall. You can smell the dampness of the earth, the mold growing in the corners, the stale air that has been trapped inside for too long. You are told to kneel. You don't hesitate. There's nothing to hesitate for. You can't stand to see his face, to feel his hands on you, to know that this is the life you will now lead. It's over quickly, too quickly, but it doesn't stop there. There are more men waiting, more buyers, more owners. You rise, but the weight of your new reality sits heavy on your shoulders. You stand, and your body moves, but your soul is elsewhere, far from this place, far from this life. And so, you wait. The cycle continues. You are nothing but a tool, a commodity, a piece of flesh to be used, sold, discarded when you are no longer needed. The night grows heavy around you, the sounds of the village outside fading away. But your story doesn't end here. Not yet. There is more to be endured, and more to be done. Part 3. Ritual, sacrifice, and violence. You can hear the sounds of the camp growing quiet. The air is still but charged, heavy with anticipation. The warriors move around you, their steps deliberate, their eyes distant. You stand in the middle of it all, the weight of their presence pressing down on you, like an invisible hand. The first time you saw the blood, you didn't understand it. The dark, sticky smear across the earth seemed out of place, a cruel painting on the ground. Now you know. You've seen it before, and you'll see it again. The warriors gather around a central fire, its flame dancing high, casting shadows that seem to grow long and dark across the ground. The scent of burning wood and flesh fills the air, but it isn't the fire that makes your stomach churn. It's the look in their eyes, the coldness, the purpose. They've gathered you and the other women, more than you can count, herded together like cattle. The feeling is sharp, undeniable. the sense of being nothing more than livestock, a commodity to be weighed, measured, examined for value. There's no room for individuality here, no space to be seen as human, only the collective weight of your bodies, pressed together in a silent mass. You stand shoulder to shoulder with the others, each of you stiff, motionless, waiting. There's no noise, no sound beyond the distant murmurs of the men, their footsteps slow, deliberate, echoing like the heavy toll of a bell. The air around you is thick, cold, holding its breath, as if the world itself has stopped turning, paused in this moment of silent judgment. The elder of the camp moves toward you, his eyes scanning you, his gaze cold and calculating. You can feel his presence even before he reaches you, a shadow that follows you, suffocating, unavoidable. His fingers graze the edge of your cheek, his touch light but demanding. The briefest touch, but it lingers like a mark on your skin. His steps are quiet, but they echo in your chest, each movement deliberate, purposeful. He's almost there. Your breath catches. The space between you two feels impossibly small. A fleeting touch, but it stays, locked in the space ahead. But you know, you feel it. She's already gone. The moment has already found her. The circle tightens, drawing closer around you, their breath a low hum in the air, the rhythm of the camp alive in their eyes. You hear the murmurs between the men, the quiet incantations, their voices low and guttural. It's a chant, but not a chant of prayer. It's a chant of power. The ritual begins. They bind your wrists, the rope cutting into your skin, tight, unforgiving, the fibers biting into the flesh of your arms. You try to move, but the weight of the chains and the restraints hold you still. There's no escape. There's never any escape. You're trapped, held within the circle of men, the circle of your own fate. The sounds around you blur. The chanting, the movement of feet on the earth, the crackling of fire. But then it's all you hear. The whispers grow louder, more demanding, and you close your eyes. There's nothing else to do. You feel a sharp tug at your hair, pulling your head back, forcing you to meet their eyes, to see their cold satisfaction, their twisted joy. It doesn't matter that you close your eyes. They are still there, watching, waiting. You feel the sharp edge of a blade at your throat, the cold steel pressing against your skin. The tip of the blade hovers, its weight heavy, just enough to make you feel the tension, the anticipation. But it doesn't cut. Not yet. The warriors stand in silence now, waiting for the signal, the moment when the sacrifice will begin. Their faces are blank, their eyes fixed. And in that stillness there is no humanity. There is only the ritual. The elder steps forward, his face grave, his hands reaching to the blade at your throat. He pulls it away for just a moment, and you feel the change in the air, the shift in energy. The moment has come. It's too late to fight, too late to scream. And then, the blade cuts through the air, slicing through the silence, as though it is not yours anymore. You are just the vessel, a sacrifice. The ceremony goes on, and you, like all the women before you, are nothing more than a whisper, a breath in the wind, a fleeting moment in the ritual. Your mind drifts, heavy, distant. You're no longer sure where you end and the ceremony begins. But you are here, still, a part of it all. The fire flickers in the background, the screams becoming whispers, and the cycle continues. Who will be next? Part 4. The Children of Captivity. 1. You wake to the murmur of voices, low and steady, whispers that drift through the air like smoke. The morning light filters weakly through the cracks in the walls, cold, grey, uncertain. You can hear the sounds of the camp stirring around you, feet scraping against the ground, the shuffle of bodies as they move from one task to the next. But there is nothing soft in this motion. Everything is stiff, every step heavy with the weight of survival. Beside you, the other women shift, slowly, their bodies aching from the weight of exhaustion. The nights bleed into the days, a blur of restless hours, where the line between sleep and wakefulness has long disappeared. Their eyes are heavy, but they do not close. There is no true rest here, no peace. Sleep is a luxury they no longer know. Every inch of their skin is sore from lying on cold stone floors. Every breath is shallow, as though even the air is too heavy to breathe in. The scent of sweat, dust and fear clings to them, a permanent layer of grime they cannot wash away. They lie there in the stillness, not truly sleeping. Their bodies may be still, but their minds never rest. They listen for sounds in the dark, for the creak of chains, the shuffle of footsteps. Always waiting. Sleep, they have learned, is a fleeting thing. It does not come easily. It is a distant memory, one that feels as foreign as freedom. You glance to your side. The children are huddled together in the corner, their small bodies curled in on themselves, barely clothed, too thin for their age. Their faces drawn, eyes wide with the terror they were born into. They know. Even at this age, they understand the harsh rhythm of the world they've inherited. The whispers of the camp are their lullabies. The cold hands that touch their mothers. The men who walk with heavy boots and cruel eyes. They know them all. Some are too young to remember a life before this. Before the raiders came, before the village was torn apart, before their mothers were bound, dragged away, to a fate they couldn't understand. Dirt-streaked, eyes shut tight against the chill, and their bodies curl in on themselves as if trying to become one with the warmth of the flames. They are too young to understand the weight of what has been lost, too young to grasp the true cost of survival. Yet, in their sleep, they dream. Dreams soft and fleeting, born of innocence they can barely hold on to. Perhaps they dream of things they will never know, of a world that existed before the raiders came, before the screams shattered the night, before the flames devoured their homes. Maybe they dream of their mothers, of the warmth of their hands, of the songs they once sang, of the gentle smiles that once comforted them. In their dreams, the past is not gone. It lingers like a whisper, something just beyond reach. They dream of the life that was, a life before the chains, before the silence of captivity, before the fear. They do not know the weight of the chains, not yet. They do not know the loss that their mothers carry. But, in the quiet of their dreams, there is a flicker of what once was, a memory of something pure, something untainted by the brutality of war. But dreams don't last, and when they wake, the morning is cold, the fires are low, and they know there is no escape. The older children, perhaps 12 or 13, stand at the edges of the camp, their eyes scanning, watching, waiting. They are too young to fight, but they are learning. They watch their mothers. They watch the men. They watch how the world moves. One day, they know, they'll have to join the cycle. For now, they are invisible, hiding in plain sight, waiting for their moment. waiting for a time when they are old enough to understand what's coming. But even as they wait, they already know. They already understand. The children of captivity are not children anymore. Not really. They are just the next step in the endless march of survival. And you? You can only watch. You can only wait. You feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, shadow of this cruelty. They learn not from the joys of childhood, but from the necessity of survival. There is no innocence left in their eyes. Not anymore. The laughter that once filled the air has long since faded, replaced by the dull, hollow silence of a life defined by struggle. They adapt quickly, too quickly, learning the harsh lessons of captivity faster than any child should. They are products of the world they were born into, shaped by its cruelty, its indifference, its need for survival at any cost. And one day, when they are older, they will know what they must do, just as you know now. They will know how to survive, how to endure, how to face a world that sees them only as tools. They will know how to bend, how to break, how to survive. And that knowledge will be their curse. Part 5. Resistance and legacy. They did not break, not entirely, not in the ways their captors expected. In the long, relentless days of captivity, the hours stretched on like an unbroken chain, each minute slipping by, heavy and slow. The air was thick with fear and silence, a suffocating weight that pressed down on their chests, leaving little room for breath, for thoughts, for anything other than the overwhelming sense of helplessness. But even in this quiet torment, the women found ways to resist. They did not fight with swords, their bodies no longer capable of such strength, but they fought with something far more powerful, the quiet strength of endurance. They resisted not by raising their hands, but by lowering their heads just enough to survive, to keep moving, to keep breathing. In the mornings, they woke to the same harsh reality, the cold, damp stone floors beneath them, the taste of fear still fresh in their mouths. But they found ways to make it through. They did not scream. They did not break. They held on to each other with glances, with the smallest gestures, a hand brushing against another in silent solidarity, a shared moment of knowing, of understanding. Every day they made it through, and in that they fought back. Every moment they survived was an act of defiance, an assertion of their humanity in a world that sought to strip it away. Each passing hour was a victory, no matter how small, no matter how quiet. Resistance took many forms, and often it was hidden in the smallest acts, like a whispered prayer in the darkness, a fleeting glance shared between two women, a soft word of encouragement passed in hushed tones. They could not escape physically, but they resisted the mental and emotional chains. They kept their minds free, their thoughts untamed. Some women found ways to use their skills to survive. They worked, they cooked, they cleaned. But they did so on their own terms, carving out moments of autonomy in a world that sought to control every aspect of their lives. In the corners of their captivity, they kept their strength, their resilience hidden, waiting for the right. They built something more lasting. The children born of captivity, those who were not crushed by their mother's struggles, who were raised in the shadow of survival, became the true legacy. For they were not raised to be mere survivors. They were raised to understand what it meant to endure, to resist. The mothers passed down their stories, their strength, their defiance. In the quiet moments, they shared what had been taken from them, the stories of their people, the history that could not be erased. Through stories, through small lessons, they passed down their legacy. And it was in this that the legacy of resistance took root. It wasn't in battles or grand uprisings, but in the everyday defiance, the refusal to let go of who they were, even when the world tried to erase them. Their legacy was not in their physical freedom, but in the strength of their spirit, the power of their endurance. The children grew, but they did not grow in ignorance. Their small hands, once soft and untested, became calloused and worn before their time, shaped by the harsh reality of their world. From the very moment they could understand, they felt the weight of what had been taken from them, not through words, but through the silence that filled their home, through the absence of laughter, the absence of joy, the absence of the familiar warmth of mothers who were once whole. They did not grow without a sense of what had been lost. Even the youngest knew something was missing, something irreplaceable. The world they knew before the raids was now just a memory, a story their mothers whispered in the dark, a dream that slipped further from their grasp as each day passed. The mothers' faces were etched with the quiet pain of captivity, and their children felt it, saw it in their eyes, heard it in the soft tremors of their voices when they spoke of the past. And so, their resistance was passed down, the spirit of survival, the strength to resist, the will to live with dignity. It became their inheritance. The legacy of their mothers lived on, not in chains, but in the hearts of those who carried their stories forward. Even in the darkest corners of captivity, there was always a flicker of something more, a spark of rebellion, a whisper of hope. As the story of the Viking raids fades into the shadows of history, we remember the lives forever marked by conquest. Not the warriors, not the gold or silver, but the women. Those whose fates were sealed not by the axe, but by the cruel hand of ownership, by the loss of autonomy, by the unforgiving march of time and survival. Their resistance was not loud, it was not heroic in the way legends are told, but it was defiant, persistent, quiet. Every breath they took, every moment they survived, was a small rebellion against the world that sought to erase them. Their legacy, passed down in whispered stories, in the strength of their spirit, lives on in the generations that followed. A legacy of survival, of quiet resistance, and of the unbroken will to hold on to their humanity, even in the darkest of times. And so, the story of what Vikings did to the wives of defeated warriors is not just a tale of loss, but of strength, of resilience, and the unyielding force of the human spirit. Thank you for joining me on this journey into forgotten history. If this story resonated with you, subscribe to my channel and share your thoughts in the comments below. As always, let me know where you're tuning in from, and remember, across centuries, we are all connected by the stories that survive and the lessons they leave behind. Until next time, rest well and let the whispers of the past guide you. Good night, and we will meet again.